Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Dialogue in Diaspora this beautiful Monday morning. It's a pleasure to have you join us on the program today. My name is Tunde Alabi. As usual, your host on this program. It's a wonderful Monday morning. The weather is not really bad. It's not absolutely too cold. Around us here in London. I don't know for those of you outside London or those of you somewhere outside Europe, but I do understand for those of you in Italy, the weather is quite okay. For those of you in France, in the inner part of France, Paris, the weather is okay. Amsterdam is not really bad from what we've been getting from people. Nigeria, very warm. Other part of Africa, very warm. All right, this morning we're going to be talking politics in the fourth session of this program. We're taking a look at the state of the nation, Nigeria, now, and then we'll take a look at 2019. And then when we come back after this discussion, political discussion, we'll go to Libya. We'll be taking a look at the issue of human trafficking and slavery in Libya. I've got some community leaders who are involved in anti-slavery and anti-human trafficking that will be joining me on the show. A bit of that will also come on the program about the role of the Nigerian government in ensuring the safety and good return of Nigerians that are currently trapped in Libya, and of course the role of African leaders in the current situation that Libya is going through vis-a-vis the role played by the West, and how the West seems to be standing aloof with all the situations now currently in Libya, and a couple of other things. It's going to be an interesting show. The appropriate time you'll be able to call into the studio and call into the program to be part of the discussion. Nigeria is all eyes, so you can call to join the program. Just go straight to your point. Let's be civil and be fair. Good morning, and you're welcome to the program Dialogue in Diaspora. Let me bring to you my guest first. By my immediate right is Dr. Mike Omotosho. Dr. Mike Omotosho was a former governorship candidate under the Labour Party in Kwara State. He contested, and unfortunately, we all know who the governor of Kwara State is, but at least he tried and he made it up to some level. But today, he is the current national chairman of the Labour Party in Nigeria, one of the youngest chairman that is currently leading a political party in the country. At a point in time, he was district governor of the Rotary Club in Abuja, Nigeria, if I'm right. Yes, indeed. But now he is leading one of the biggest political parties emerging and becoming big. They did very well in the last national elections we had in Nigeria, and so we tend to see how he's going to bring his vibrancy and youthfulness into what Labour Party will be able to do in 2019. So Dr. Michael Omotosho is my guest here on the program. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the program today. You are welcome to the program. And I'm also joined by Engineer Don Ayam. Engineer Don Ayam is a leader of the All Progressive Congress. Sorry. Okay, we all know what APC has done. We are All Progressive Congress UK, and Engineer Don Ayam. Engineer, thank you for joining us on the program. Funnily, my two guests in the studio are all professionals, one a doctor, one an engineer, in their different, so it's an interesting show. We'll take a look at a couple of other issues from national security or economy, social developments, and of course, what the underdog party, they call themselves underdog, that we should expect. Anything can happen in 2019. I read one of his articles, said, well, the miracle could happen, a miracle could happen in 2019, and another underdog could emerge. We don't know. Let's see what Labour Party may have for us, and let's see how the APC will be able to defend their role in government in the last couple of years on the show, and then we'll open the phone line for you guys to be part of the program. Let me start with Dr. Mike. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you again, Tunde.
Let me start with you as the governor, former governor of the Rotary Club, Abuja District. Just tell me one thing that you did and has become a record of your governorship as Rotary Club governor that is there?
Well, Rotary, as you know, is a service club, humanitarian services. That's what we do in Rotary. So I want to mention what I did as it relates to that. For instance, in the first 150 days in office as the governor of Rotary International District 9125, covering 23 states and the FCT. In fact, all of northwest, northeast, north central, and southwest without Lagos and Ogun states. So it's 23 states and the FCT. I went around all of those states in 150 days to commission about 300 humanitarian service projects. For me, that is a very significant achievement. I don't want to bore you with the details of how we created the four-way test game or the world's thickest book based on Rotary's four-way test. But for me, the human angle is what should sell. And that's what I'm talking about, the services the clubs actually had, and I was opportune to commission as governor of
So
Rotary.
the course of going around commissioning this project, going through all those states, what were the things you saw?
Oh, palpable poverty, the need for people to not just put in their best, but hold leaders, political leaders accountable, because it's a call for service. People should ordinarily be able to put in leaders that will protect their interests, the interest of the community. But you don't see that as we move around. You see everyone fending for himself. You see someone having a business, having to probably clear a path to his premises. You'll probably have to dig a borehole. You'll probably have to buy his own generating set. I mean, all of those should be taken as a given so that way you can begin to look at how to actually optimize the business services that you're offering. But most times people don't even have access to this basic amenities. So where do you start from?
Has anything changed from that time to now?
No, not
From the
much.
time you were in
Governor.
that position, has anything changed?
No, that was 2 years ago. No, nothing has changed. International agencies come in with donations, well-meaning Nigerians to come up like we do as Rotarians back home, come up and donate. We're not saying government should do everything, but within limits, there are basic things that you expect government to take care of. Then we can now augment, we can support. And we find our support usually being the main thing. We give out no less than 500 boreholes. I mean, ordinarily in this day and age, except for townhouses, you shouldn't be having borehole problems. You shouldn't even be thinking of using boreholes as your means of getting water. I mean, there should be a well-designed automated system for people to get access to water. Look at healthcare too, for instance. We've had cause to go on several medical missions, and the states, people are in deplorable states.
Engineer, I mean, one of the reasons why Nigerians actually decided to change from the government of Nigeria that had power for 16 years was to effect the change mantra your party sold to Nigerians. You just heard from him. Poverty all across the land, just even the last 2 years when your government took power. In your view, do you think anything has changed in terms of the poverty level of Nigerians and Nigeria from the time APC came to power in 2019 and 2017? Has anything changed at the poverty level?
Yes, thank you, Tunde. I can say for sure that a lot has changed. Much has changed. And if I just step back one step and try to go back to the idea of the change mantra, the change mantra was actually sold to the party by the people. Okay, when APC came into existence, our intention, the name of the mantra of the party, the motto we wanted was a new party for a new nation. Okay, but as our leaders went about trying to campaign for a new party for a new nation, the people would be shouting change because they just wanted change. And it became apparent to the leadership of the party that change was what was going to be the best mantra to take. So change was sold to us. And the importance of saying that to you is that you said we sold the mantra of change to the people, it's the other way around. The people showed change to us, and we embraced change. And of course, change is one of the most difficult things to achieve. It's one of the most difficult things to achieve. In the English parlance, they say the only constant is change. But it is still a difficult process to achieve, particularly when you want to make what has become a massive change from where we took government, where the nation was when APC came into existence, to where we need to get the nation to. I think anyone looking at Nigeria must say that things weren't good, were not good. Things were going bad.
From what point?
Leading on to the end of the PDP government.
2015?
2015, leading on to the end of the PDP government.
Can we talk at a measurable level? For every, let us measure these. Let's put it on a scale. Things were really going bad, okay? Economically, say for instance, the cost of these, the value of these, the lifespan of people. Let's put on a measurable level, because that's what my viewers will want to listen to say the change level, moving forward or moving backward.
Indeed. Where this measurable level becomes difficult, not that we should not do exactly what you've said, but where it becomes difficult is that the measure that we want to put in, we also have to gauge it with the level of corruption that had stained Nigeria up to that point. Much of the issues that Nigeria had, for example, the fluctuating price of fuel at that time, fuel scarcity, it was all disguised by corruption. I mean, I could remember watching TV in UK here, seeing people coming on TV saying that government is owing them billions of naira for taking our oil outside to go and refine, and then re-importing it to come and distribute in our country when we had refineries.
Has anything changed from that level? Has government changed from that strategy?
Well,
from giving oil out, bringing refined one back, and has anything changed? Has more refineries been built by your government, or the existing ones changed?
Tunde, I'm sure you know that it would take more than 2 years even to concept a refinery, let alone build one. What needed to have happened is that we should make the refineries that are in existence, make them work. And the government is working stridently at making sure that the refineries we have actually work. You see, so if our refineries start working, then we would be able to stop this importation.
I don't want to lose focus of where I started from.
Yes.
Poverty level.
Yes.
He was a Rotary governor,
Yes.
moved around,
Yes.
saw the level of poverty in Nigeria.
Yes.
This is about 2 years ago.
Yes.
And just on that basis, because of the heightened level of poverty, that people said, well, you said the people sold change mantra to your party. Okay, so let's have a change. Probably our fortune will increase. Has the poverty level of Nigerians improved since your party came to power?
I believe it has.
It has.
I really believe it has, yes. In that the way that you feel poverty is on different levels, it's on several levels. For example, for the ordinary working man, the government, we inherited a pay level of 18,000 naira per annum for a working man. 18,000 naira per annum.
Has the government increased it now?
Well, I don't know what the process is, but what needs to be done is that the constitutional procedure for changing that needs to take place. But the ones that appear to be standing in against that happening is the same National Assembly.
The Labour Party has been fighting to get, I mean, not the Labour Party, the Labour Union has been fighting to get the money increased. But the Minister of Labour doesn't seem to buy that. Say, look, even the money they are paying, salaries they are paying workers now, they can't even pay them. So if change is what they sold to you, one will imagine from 18,000 now, an average Nigerian, considering the level of hardship that people are going through, one will imagine that your party will have probably come up with a minimum of 32,000, 35,000 naira.
Well, you see, the thing is that if you just increase salaries, you know from the history of Nigeria that even the benefit that accrues to the ordinary person that is receiving that salary increase will be wiped out by a lot of increases in all sectors of the market. People who operate transport will increase transport fare. The market woman will say they want their own share. I mean, I'm old enough, I don't know about my colleague, but I'm old enough to remember the days of Udoji.
Yeah, Udoji.
You understand? Yeah. As soon as Udoji raised our money, I was working in Nigeria at that time. As soon as Udoji raised our money, what happened? The market woman in Sangros, where I was going to buy things at that time, wanted their own share of my Udoji money. Transport wanted their own share. The fare from Racecourse to Ikoyi, where I was working, went up. So you can't just increase salary without making other changes.
Right,
and those are the structural changes that government need to put in place so that there could be accrued beneficial increases, which does not manifest into the naira that is in your pocket. That is a better way of increasing the welfare and the benefit of the ordinary worker.
All right.
More significantly, you see, there is a disproportionate, I need to say this at this moment in time, there is a grossly disproportionate distribution of our national wealth between our ordinary citizens and those who are in our National Assembly. For example, how on earth can a senator in this day and age still be justifying a wage and a salary of about 30 million a month?
But the Senate is dominated by your party.
Well, yes.
So why has your party not done anything to change that? The Senate leader is an APC man, Senate majority is an APC man, the whip is an APC man.
Well, I think you're touching on some
So why has APC not done something to bring a change at the National Assembly level?
Well, the National Assembly, particularly the senators themselves, have to agree their own program.
So it means
it was within the Senate that this thing started going.
Does it mean your party does not have control over his own, has lost control of his majority in the National Assembly?
That is not the case at all.
Okay, let me put you on hold. Let me quickly come to Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike, I mean, considering what you saw while you were a Rotary governor, was that what inspired you into moving to your state to say, look, I'd like to be governor, I'd like to contribute at the state level? What actually led you into contesting at that level for Kwara?
Well, it's the desire to see things change, the desire to have an opportunity, a platform to be able to touch more lives. I noticed that as a Rotarian, I actually ran for office before I became Rotary governor, even though I was already governor nominee. You know, in Rotary, it's a 4-year program. You become governor nominee, governor-elect, governor, and then immediately pass district governor. So I was already nominated for that role before going to run in Kwara. I had a foundation. I still have the foundation, the My Competition Foundation, whose initial goal was to coalesce a network of youths that would think globally but act locally. What I intend to do was to engage these youths in such a way that they can take control of their immediate environment. Stop asking governments what to do something for you. By the time you begin to do stuff for yourself, government will see reason and will join you. That's my own mantra. So in fact, the bottom line will be meddling in people's affairs, uninvited, but you will leave them positively impacted. That was it. But when we go into the communities trying to tease out youths that we can work with, we realized there was a lot of hunger, there was a lot of poverty, there was inaccessibility to adequate health care. People graduates will have left school over 4 years, and then they're still living with their parents. Haven't spent so much to send them to school. You see mothers who cannot go to bed because she has a sick child. So the vision of the foundation changed, and then we started regular humanitarian services. So within 2 weeks, for instance, we went on medical missions to about 12 different communities, serving over 5,000 people. Within that period, we also shared out about 10,000 nets, long-lasting insecticide-treated nets against malaria. So we began to do stuff within the community, and people said, hey, Doc, if you're able to do this of your own volition, these are the kind of leaders that we want. We want leaders that are not wealthy per se, but are content with whatever it is they have and are willing to touch the life of others. I mean, that is an attribute I already had as a Rotarian. So my people insisted I should run for office, and as I started. And the Labour Party aligns with my ideologies of the masses, the people, the family unit, and those ideologies that resonate with me. And I know that if we have the opportunity to deliver, we will walk around the people. Enough of all the paper tigers that we've been having, enough of, apologies sir, enough of promises from the opposition party, promises of power, promises of change that we've not seen. People are truly getting very disenchanted. People are in a hurry to see the change, but because it's not been felt yet, and people are complaining. In fact, ironically, even members of the ruling party are also complaining and grumbling because people are yet to see the change that has been promised. In fact, there's a large portion of people, even from within, that want to change the change as it is now. Yes, we must give the ruling party some credit. For instance, there's been a reduction 0.05% in the inflation rate, for instance. We've been in and out of recession. Kudos to them too. To a large extent too, there's not been any scarcity per se in access to petroleum products, even though the prices have not come down, even though we're yet to see the dividends of the banned subvention that a lot of people believe are still being paid. But then people now have access. For us in the Labour Party, it's not about criticizing government. It's about providing an alternative. How can we truly make things better for the people? It's not about who is in charge. It's about doing the right things. It's about holding our leaders accountable. It's about ensuring that the politicians that we have are truly leaders, not non-leaders in politics. So if the government is doing something nice, we will applaud them. But of course, when they're not doing what the people, what the masses want them to do, we will come up strongly and let them know. So to a large extent, people wanted this, and they wanted a leader whose ideology will be ensuring that they are okay, not for selfish or personal gains, like we already have currently, like we're saying. I mean, you mentioned the salaries and the emoluments of the legislators. I mean, legislators, I mean, it's a huge anomaly compared to what people are actually going through. And by extension, the current President Muhammadu Buhari has instituted the Minimum Wage Review Committee, which is a plus, but let's hope they work on time. I mean, it's not enough to just institute a committee. We want to see what the committee is going to do, and then not just see what the committee is going to do, we want to see it implemented so that people can actually get this. I remember that not the Labour Party, the Labour Congress fought for the implementation of the minimum wage. And as we speak, some states still cannot afford to pay. Well, that's what they say. So if it's reviewed, how is this managed in such a way that the real dividends of this upward review will touch on the lives of the masses? For me, it's not so much about the minimum wage. I think we should look at it in an all-encompassing way. First is security. A secure family, for me, will give that family the opportunity to go about their regular business, go to school, go to the places of worship, do the things they need to do, thereby providing a secure nation. I think that's one thing we need to tackle first. Now, when you finish that, you can now move into self-sufficiency. When you ensure that the family unit itself is self-sufficient, you're surely going to have a formidable economy. And I think that is the point where we should tackle. Because when we have a formidable economy hinged around the family units, then what the government will have to do is just provide a platform. And that's why for us in the Labour Party, we put family first. Because it's about the family. That's the smallest economic unit. And if the ruling government will see this and align with this, we don't have a problem. But if they won't, then people from within also want to change the change. Once we're through with that, we move to the third section, which is health, because people will want to be, you can't do the things you want to do if you're indisposed. So a healthy family will create a wealthy nation too, by extension. And then the most important, even though it's the last of the four pillars, will be education, because a properly educated family will be the ones that will develop the nation. So I think it's a gradual process, and I think we should all come together and see how to make this emergency work.
You will be leading the Labour Party through this for... You are leading. Yes. I mean, towards 2019,
Yes.
you will be leading the Labour Party
Yes.
into the election,
Yes.
as you're currently emphasizing on these four wheels that you've just spoken about.
Yeah.
But is the Labour Party of Nigeria really ready to take on the APC or the PDP
Well,
under your leadership?
For me, there's no difference between the ruling party and the opposition party. One promised us power, what happened? It's all filled with corruption. The other promised change, and we're yet to see the change. The difference between them, for me, is like the difference between 6 and half a dozen, one and the same. You see people move from one party to the other without thinking about ideologies. I don't see any ideological difference as it relates to implementation. For us in the Labour Party, we have an ideology that we're going to push.
What's the ideology?
It's about providing equal opportunities and social justice. We're not talking about equity now. We're talking about equal opportunities. We're not talking about equality, I mean. We're talking about equal opportunities. So it's not about a girl child or a woman or youth who just want to give you an opportunity to be the best that you can be. So enough of the rhetorics, enough of the talk shop. Let's come down to the table and implement projects that will have impact on the lives of the masses. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the masses. Governance itself is about the people. So if we neglect the people that we've promised to serve, then what are we talking about?
Engineer.
Yes, can I just say one?
Leading to 2015, sir.
Yes.
There was so much hope on the party that was coming on.
Yes.
The conglomeration of ACN, APC, CPC that finally became APC.
Yes.
Moving forward, fast forward from 2014, 2015, 2017. How happy, with response you wanted to give before, how happy do you think those people in 2014, they were full of so much hope,
Yeah.
built around the APC, thinking, oh, here is the Messiah party. How happy are they now with your party?
Without having measured happiness as a criteria, it's very difficult to say how happy are we.
Let's look at it from the living standard of the people.
Right. I think even Mike has alluded and agreed with certain things which, for example, made living standards to be difficult before. Issues of scarcity of fuel, scarcity of food. I think those are the basics, the sort of basic things that affect ordinary Nigerians outside of the idea of everybody being their own government. You see, governance is not good enough. This is one of the things I wanted to say when Mike was speaking. It is about good governance.
Yeah.
Good governance is what makes the life of the people to be better, you see. And the process of building good governance is not an easy process because it's full of challenges, particularly where there has been next to no governance at all. You see, I usually make a joke when I'm discussing with people. I say there are two ships in Nigeria. There's the leader ship and the follower ship, and both ships are broken. that is the truth. Yeah. Both ships are broken. Okay? And within the party one time, we had a photograph circulating around us where our president PMB was shown with his sleeves wound up, repairing a wrecked vehicle. And that is exactly where we are. He had to take off all his agbada almost next to his shokoto, just with his sleeves rolled up, repairing this broken vehicle, because that was the vehicle we inherited, a completely broken, decrepit
But to an ordinary Nigerian, the vehicle wasn't broken because first they were able to afford food reasonably cheap. They could move around compared to what we have now, rising cost of living, rising cost of transport fare, rising cost of housing. Everything has gone up, rising and rising. Meanwhile, the earning has not improved.
That is not true. I think you have painted a picture there that is completely opposite to what it was. I think what you have described is maybe where we are now compared to where we were before. Because where we were before, people weren't able to move about. I used to go to Nigeria. I'm not stuck here. I go to Nigeria very frequently. And most times, even when you're going on the traffic, you have to leave the vehicle and walk to where you're going. All sorts of terrible experiences. But it's not the same now because things are improving, you see.
So in your judgment of the performance of the ruling party, things are improving in Nigeria?
Of course they are.
I leave that to my
Of course
viewers
they
to
are.
judge. I leave that to my viewers to judge. Doctor, before you move on, let me go on a short break now. I'm going to call in my viewers to judge how things actually improving, as noted by engineer. I am on the program. Then we'll come back after this break. Don't go away.
Bavidi Luxury Hotel, the newest home away from home in the Nigerian hospitality industry. 10 minutes only from the local and international airports. It's the perfect spot for your relaxation whenever you're in Lagos. 24-hour non-stop electricity, cozy and colorful rooms, Wi-Fi internet connection, and flat-screen cable television. Bavidi Luxury Hotel. Our exquisite restaurant and full bar are simply second to none in taste and style. Bavidi Luxury Hotel. We are located at the posh, serene neighborhood in the Keja Business District. Your satisfaction is our first concern, so we train our staff to be professional and personable. Bavidi Luxury Hotel, number 20 Moshood Abiola Crescent, Ikeja, Lagos. Telephone +234 1291 7929 +234 708 287 7512. Bavidi Luxury Hotel, the new home away from home.
Every culture and society has its differences. Yes, we are different, but united in one nation.
It's time for us to gather together.
I'm saying yes because yes means positivity.
I say yes to a better healthcare system because nobody's life should have to be cut short for things that can easily be fixed.
Join the movement. Say yes to a better Nigeria.
Yes to a better creative industry because it will boost our economy and make our country greater.
I'm saying yes, we can do it. About road, we can do it. About infrastructures, we can do it. Good education, yes, we can do it.
Join the movement. Say yes to a better Nigeria.
Yes to a better Nigeria.
Join the evolution by visiting the website at www.yesnigeria.org.
All right, you're welcome back, and the program is still Dialogue in Diaspora. We are in Nigeria. We're talking about the state of the nation and 2019. The way forward, you can join us on the show, and the number to call is going to be put on the screen. I've got my guest in the studio, Dr. Michael Matosho, National Chairman of the Labour Party in Nigeria, and, of course, Engineer Donayam, leader at APC UK. Let me start with you, Dr. Mike. One of the problems Nigeria is currently facing that the APC came to power to correct was the issue of corruption. Well, how much of that they've been able to correct, I can't say. But let's come down to Labour Party. If Labour Party is going to be taking on APC or PDP, who's going to be the savior for Nigeria? Shouldn't your party rid itself of corruption and fraud? Even up to a point of 1.3 million pounds has currently been leveled against, I don't even know to call him past chairman or factional chairman, Abdul Kadir Abdul Salam.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up, and that's been taken up. It's actually 1.3 billion naira.
Yeah.
And the case has been investigated by the police. It's been reported. I'm sure you've not heard of any core government prosecuting itself. So we're showing people that we mean business. The former chairman has been alleged of corrupt practices, embezzlement, even forgery, and we've taken this up. We've reported to the police. We have an interim report, and at the appropriate time, this will be charged to court for a fair hearing. So it shows you that whatever we're promising starts from within. We're practicing internal democracy, and that's what we're going to do on a larger scale too as well.
Since you came into office in October, Abdul Kadir Abdul Salam said he remains the chairman, that you're just a factional chairman.
No, that's not true, because we had a process. Well, I try to shy away from discussing such issues because for me it's about the progress, it's about looking forward, it's about where we're taking the party to. But more importantly, I need to let the audience know this now that you brought it up. No single individual is more than the entire party. As a former chairman, he was invited to face the disciplinary committee and explain how he spent 1.3 billion, and he didn't show up. The National Working Committee came together, had an ad hoc meeting, invited him to come and explain himself again. He didn't. Then they went into a National Executive Council meeting, which is bigger. And then his suspension was muted there. Then there was a special convention where his convention was ratified. His suspension was ratified, and I came in as the national chairman. Now he's going around saying he's not that he's still the chairman. So one single individual cannot be more than the party. For me, that is a foregone conclusion. That is an old issue. I mean, anybody can say whatever they want to say. We've left that for the courts to decide. So more importantly, the party has decided who its chairman is, and I happen to be the chairman. So the focus now is to move forward, move the party forward, provide that credible alternative for the people of Nigeria. And that's
it took the
what we're doing.
PDP 2 years plus to rid itself of its factionalism between Sheriff and the other faction. But Labour Party is just getting into its own crisis. With this, with less than 2 years to national election, would Labour Party be able to provide that platform, that credibility, considering the crisis that I just started now? We don't know how long this is going to take. Will you be able to provide that credibility?
No, they're two different things. That's what I need you to understand. They're two different things. We don't have factions in Labour Party.
Abdul Karim is claiming he's one.
That's a single individual. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Out of a 33-member working committee, 24 are filled, and of those 24, 21 are on one side, 2 are alone, and then Abdul Karim is just one person. So you can't have a faction with one person. It's impossible. And that's exactly what we're trying to correct in the country. Individuals who happen to be in positions of authority are not emperors. No. You have a constitution, you have the party constitution that should guide you. And that exactly is what we want Nigerians to see, that we're following due process and we will get there. So they're totally different cases. It's not a case of having two factions, no. We have just one Labour Party. All of the National Working Committee are together. And that is the National Working Committee that I lead. He doesn't even have any National Working Committee. He doesn't have a section or this, no. So that's not the issue. So we do not have factions. But of course, anybody can wake up and say anything they want to say. There's freedom of expression. So, but on the issue of corruption, that will be taken care of.
But before I come to you, Engineer, let me just stay with him a little bit more. Of course, I do appreciate the fact that as of now, couple of criticism against your person, but none has been on the issue of corruption or anything. I couldn't find anything on you on corruption.
I mean,
except for the fact that while you were trying to contest for the governorship election in Kwara State, you didn't pay for your form.
That's not true. I paid. What you're saying is exactly what the former chairman is saying. He's saying, I'm not a member of the party. And people ask him, how can he not be a member of the party when he ran for office under this? I mean, that's just, I'm amazed that's coming up.
Yeah, because I wanted to probably clarify that. If I could get that there are 1,001 people who are getting that, where's this guy coming from? After election in 2015, he disappeared all of a sudden to appear as the chairman of Labour Party.
No, that's totally not true. I've been actively involved in community services back home because every politics is grassroots. So my foundation has been doing that. I've been supporting the Labour Party, not just in my state, but at the national level. In fact, that's the reason I don't want to sound a little too, I don't know how to put it, but then that's the reason why people came together and said, hey, if you're able to expose Labour Party the way you did, we had a beautiful campaign in Kwara. We did not win the elections, but we won the hearts of the people. And if you go back to Kwara today, just ask of Omotosho. That was my stage name, from Omotosho. You will see what people will say. I mean, I leave that to the masses. Ask them. You say, so it's that style of campaign that brought me out. And people said, as far away as in South Africa, they went in for a Labour Congress meeting, and they said, hey, if we can have somebody lead the national party the way Mike did in Kwara in just 3 months, because we had just 3 months. We changed the entire landscape of campaigning. Our campaigns they were all issue-based. We didn't attack personalities. Even from the way I've spoken today, you will notice. It's not about a person. It's about what the person is doing. And there has to be a distinction. So if we're able to show the people what we are going to do, not what the person is doing wrong, but by extension, we show them what we're going to do, not the kind of person that the person is, then we're able to make meaningful progress. Because at the end of the day, it's about the people. It's not about me. Governance, good governance, is about service to the people. So we show people this. So to clarify that issue, yes, I paid all of my statutory fees. The only thing I didn't pay was a gratuity to the former chairman. But then I paid every official fees directly into the Labour Party account. If you get the statement, you will see it there. And not only me, we paid for all the 3 senatorial candidates. We paid for all the House of Assembly members. We paid for the reps too. So we made all payments directly into the national account of the Labour Party.
I've got this call coming. Let me quickly take this call. Mami, good morning, Mami.
Good morning.
Where's Mami calling from today?
I'm calling from Nottingham.
All right, go ahead.
Right. Our problem in Africa as a whole is that the whole world runs on money and science, and we are not scientifically or financially independent. The only nations that independent in the world are the Chinese, the Russians, and the Arabs. And the Arabs are the ones that run in Africa. They are the ones that run in Europe, run in America. And today, those who are financially supporting or financially and scientifically running Africa are the ones that say what to be done in Africa. And then they are turning us against each other. We are so stupid fighting each other. This is not about politics. This is not about party. This is not about tribe. This is mainly the Arabs trying to take over the world. Arabs and everybody is afraid to point finger at them. Instead, we are too busy fighting each other. We are so stupid when I see. I'm an illiterate, but I know more than the graduates. We are so busy. The Arabs are saying no agriculture because they know that they don't want us to be independent, to be food independent. Coal.
All right, Mami.
The process of coal. They are telling us that coal is bad for us.
All right, Mami. Thank you for your contribution on that program. We will deal with some of the issues you have raised on the program briefly now, but when my next guests come into the show, we will deal with it more. Just keep watching the program, and let me sort out the politicians on the show before we talk about that issue of Africa you have raised, because of course it's going to be critical to this program as we go into what is happening in Libya. Let me come to you, Engineer Ayam. As we approach 2019, the Labour Party is repositioning itself from a corrupt outlook through what has been said against the either factional or former chairman. Is APC repositioning itself? He said some even want to change within the Change Party. What are we looking at ahead of 2019?
I think, as I said earlier, one of the common phrases in life is that the only constant in life is change. So the fact that you want to change should not surprise anybody. Because once you are changing, then change is a continuum. And that is the effect of the nature of the government that we have at the moment, that it will continue to change and improve on what it has achieved, and that will be the next level of change, and improve on what it has achieved, and another level of change. So that is nothing new at all. Let's put that to bed, because that is not part of the discussion that needs to be had. The issue with regard to 2019, as far as the party is concerned, is about how we move on to build on what we have achieved. And we must come up with a network of programs, a list of achievements that our people can empathize with. You know, one of the things that is happening at the moment, as I said, about good governance, is that we are building an enabling environment. An enabling environment is an environment where people now feel free to speak. Before, I'm sure you know, we've been on this matter together for a long time today. A lot of us were afraid to talk. In a situation where I had friends who were in government in the PDP era.
Did you say people were afraid to talk?
They were afraid to talk, yes. Yes, I had friends, for example, in the PDP government.
I think one of the things
let me just make
PDP
this point.
was actually...
Let me make this point. A minister will call a meeting, a Nigerian board meeting in London. This is not a joke. I'm telling you the facts. A Nigerian board meeting will be called in London. The minister will arrive in London and tell his officials to meet him in London for a meeting. And I couldn't speak out, even though I knew these things. Why couldn't I speak out? Because I didn't want to be held up at the airport the next time I go to Nigeria. But that doesn't happen now. We all speak out, and nobody is afraid to walk around and speak their mind. That is what good governance brings. You see? And when you talk about the opposition, we're talking here, this is not casting any aspersion about my colleague here. Neither of the opposition seems to be sorted out. Because the issue with Labour, you suggested that it might take them 2 years. By the time they're sorted out, we would have finished the election. You see? And then you reckon about the PDP. Do you really think that they are sorted out? They're far from it. They're far from it. Because the issue about them is not about the nation, it's about individuals.
It does look to ordinary Nigerians that APC is disintegrating. First with the exit of Atiku, the chances that more people are going to leave, very clear. A lot of people are very, very dissatisfied, one. And key APC members, plus Shehu Sani Senator, the governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, have actually made damning comments about the performances of APC. Let me put this straight, succinctly. In 2015-2016, there was less than 40% budget performance. 2016-2017, as of today, there has been less than 40% budget performance. And we are entering election season. What changed? What is the level of development that your party is bringing on board? What is the difference where you cannot even achieve 50% budget performance?
Okay, let me talk about this budget performance issue. Because I think, as I said earlier on, for many years, I used to sit in my own living room in UK here, listening to the Nigerian budget. And one thing that seems to surprise me, for example, the Niger Bridge, second Niger Bridge, for years and years and years on end. This is a matter that is of interest to me, because if I want to go from Lagos, where I was born, to my father's village in Nkwere, in Imo State, I have to cross the river Niger, otherwise I have to fly. But if I want, so the Niger Bridge is of interest to me. That second Niger Bridge was something that they kept repeating every year, but nothing happened. So when you talk about, then at the end of the year, they will say all the budget is spent. But the fact is that nothing happened. You had constituency proportions that are being given away without accountability.
But nothing has changed even as of now.
Let me come to that. What I'm saying to you is that structural change may happen very slowly, but it is still
What structure has been put in place to ensure these don't happen? 2 years, 3 years in government. What structure?
Well, you're comparing 2 years, 3 years in government with the historical 16 years of bad management.
And if the foundation is laid, we know there's a foundation. What foundation has APC laid?
Well, for example, in terms of budget accountability, how are we able to find out that it's only 40% performance? It's because there is accountability. Because from the Minister of Finance all the way down, nobody is allowed to say, I've got constituency allocation. Let me finish this point.
Okay,
let me finish this point. I've got constituency allocation, then it's going to be taken away. And you think that there is performance. All the constituency allocations that have been taken years and years on end, what were the results of them? Nothing on ground for all that money, our money. That's my money, our commonwealth, that has been taken by these politicians, so-called politicians, you see. And then you talked about the defections. Earlier on you said about the fact they defected to us, and now they are defecting away from us. It's because they don't have a home. If somebody comes into your house today and says, I'm part of your family, and then the next day they jump into Mike's house, they don't know where they are. They are not politicians. They are self-interest people. And we will better be rid of them. You see, because if they had any ideology, something that Mike spoke about earlier on, if they had any ideology, then they would know the reason why they left where they were to come into APC.
All right, let me put you on what I've got to
call before I finish, let me just say this. I would like you to put this question to Mike, but I will put it myself. Mike,
yeah, put it, go on.
Yes, Mike, in your party, going forward, if the same defections were to start happening into your party, what would you do?
Because
I know...
It did.
Well,
in Ondo State, we had Iroko defected to Labour.
Exactly.
Upon winning, moved out again.
I mean,
so we can't rule it out.
Iroko is somebody that I'm very familiar with.
Let me put you on hold. Let me go to Adi. Adi, good morning. Thank you for joining us and thank you for waiting.
Yeah, good morning, Tunde, and your guest.
Yes.
Yeah, I would be honest to you, as an ardent supporter of APC, and I will still continue to support the party because I know they are taking us out of Egypt, in which we don't want to go back to Egypt. Politics forget about political gimmicks. We are progressing as a nation, either they like it or not. Governance is not microwave, put in and to press the button and bring it out. It is a process. And like the APC man rightly said, it's not only the people talk about...
Are you, because of my time, are you happy with the performance of APC so far?
What they are doing.
Yes or no? Yes, I'm happy.
They are not sleeping. Yeah, they are doing their best.
Are you happy with the performance of APC?
What I'm saying to you, I've said to you, I'm happy. That's why I'm supporting them. I know governance is progress.
Are you just a party faithful, or you're in Nigeria who is really interested in Nigeria? Are you, or you're just being a party faithful?
Listen to me. I said I support them. I'm not a member of the party, but I believe they will do well. It's just only 2 and
Okay, let me put this question straight to you. Are you are the chairman of a multinational. You have a CEO. In the last 2 years, the CEO has performed below 40% of budget allocation and execution in your company. Would you still keep that CEO?
So,
no, this is your company. Will you keep a CEO who has performed under 40% of resources allocated to him in terms of financial, human, and everything that's supposed to move the company forward? 40% under. Will you keep the CEO third year, fourth year?
With the issue of Nigeria in respect of budget, we know that budget performance is below 30. But according to your guest, because now there's accountability, we all know now that our budget is even going up.
The first time we heard of PADI was when APC came to power. When there's a crisis between the executive and the legislature, where the legislature and the executive cannot agree on anything. Okay, all right, he's gone. Thank you so much. Doctor, let me come to you.
Yes, please.
Is Labour ready? What are you bringing on board? What is Labour Party bringing on board that will be different from APC?
Thank you.
As I round off the show.
Thank you. Like Ade said, well, we can't go back to Egypt, and I agree totally. But where are we headed? That's the most important
thing. Where are we going?
We can't just be out there in the wilderness. Currently, the way it is, we're out there in the wilderness, and it's very, very cold. The conditions are not acceptable to the people. The masses are complaining. There's no food to eat. I mean, it's amazing when people even say things. In fact, it's not even. Those are not even questions we should be asking. Look at the faces of people. Look at the bus stops. Look at the standard of living. Look at the number of people that you send money to back home. People that ordinarily will help sort out some things are now begging you for money, even for those living in the UK here. So the conditions of living for people isn't getting any better. This has to change. Yes, the Labour Party is positioned for innovative leadership, for developmental good governance that borders around the people. And for us, we're going to start with each family unit. As you will have noticed from our logo, which is a family in the wheel of progress moving forward. So for us, it's about providing that credible, sincere alternative. It's not being an opposition. No. People want to be able to live a good life. People want their interests to be protected. And in as much as I want to applaud the corruption fight of the current government, I think it's not enough. It can't help us. It's good, but it can't help us because you must provide safety nets. And that exactly is what Labour Party is coming to do. People need to understand that if you lose your job today, for instance, where's your family going to live? So when people begin to reason like that, say, hey, I better stockpile some cash in case something happens to me. But if you have safety nets for people to be able to live, to be able to survive, to access adequate health care, to have accommodation, to have social welfare, to have issues, the safety nets will ensure that whatever policies of anti-corruption that have been instituted will go across.
All right, thank you so much. I've been speaking with two gentlemen of different political parties and emerging and growing Labour Party. We hope they will be able to sort things out before 2018 so that we can move on. And of course, APC, we hope they will be able to, maybe 2018 budget, they will achieve 50%. We don't know, but considering the last two budgets, very horrible, we don't know. Hopefully, we'll move on from there. Engineer Donaya, thank you so much for coming on the show and speaking out for APC on the program today. And of course, Dr. Michael Motosho, National Chairman of Labour Party Nigeria, thank you for coming on the show. We wish your party well. You're a young man. Are you hoping to fill the young man come 2019? Or the general Nigeria situation, a man of 70, 80?
No, we're going to be working predominantly with anybody whose ideology fits ours, but there's a lot of emphasis on women and youths.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Let me call off the show now and come on with the next session. We'll be discussing the issue of African and national development. We'll be discussing the issue of Libya and, of course, trafficking. Don't get away.